4. Vision and Occurrence given to Raymond Aguilera on July 1990. It's July 13, 1993. I'm going to document a vision and an occurrence that happened 3 years ago from memory, for it was never recorded on tape. All morning the Lord has been reminding me to add it to the prophecy book. I have decided to fast and pray while documenting this vision occurrence, for the heavy spiritual warfare attached to this occurrence is incredible. Vision and occurrence. One afternoon while praying on my bed, I had a vision of Christ carrying a cross down the street, and I could see someone whipping him fiercely. Then I heard someone say, "If you keep hitting him, you're going to kill him before he is crucified." I could see Jesus on the ground in pain as they grabbed someone from the crowd to carry his cross. Arriving at the crucifixion area, I watched as several men held Christ. Then a very large man nailed his left hand to the cross. This large man had big arms and was wearing a piece of cloth around his forehead. He raised a wooden mallet and drove a spike into Christ's hand or wrist. I could see Jesus' pain as his body lifted into the air with the impact of the blow. Somehow I was seeing the mallet come down on Jesus from the ground up as if it was coming down on me. I remember being in shock seeing what was happening in the spirit. Then I saw the image of the right hand being nailed from the same perspective. I could see all the force the large man used with his mallet. After both hands were nailed, they nailed his feet as Jesus tried to struggle without success. I could see these men lifting the cross with Christ on it and placing it in a hole in the ground. The pain of Jesus was very vivid as the cross was lifted. Then I believe wooden wedges were driven into the base of the cross for support. I find it unusual that I can still visualize this large man with a wooden mallet so clearly after so many years. I remember lying on my bed contemplating what I had seen in the spirit. Then without warning, my left hand slowly started to move out from my body. I tried to stop it without success. With my hand outstretched, the same large man I had seen earlier in Christ's vision lifted the same wooden mallet into the air. I remember trying to remove my hand as I watched the mallet go up and seeing it come down with a great force on a spiritual spike. I became hysterical and kicked and screamed and struggled to no avail. I was screaming and fighting with all the power at my disposal. There was no real pain, only the shock of not being able to move and seeing the mallet come down. Then the man reappeared and my right hand started to move out from my body. I fought it the best I could without success, and it was also spiked. I found my arms extended and pinned to the top of the bed, and I felt completely helpless. Then my legs started to come together. I struggled as hard as I could, but it was no use, for the same man reappeared again with the same results. Next, the cross with me on it was erected and secured to the ground. I could see myself among thousands upon thousands of people that had been crucified on crosses. These hills were literally covered with crosses. Some people were hung, some people were tortured. Most were on crosses, but some had been hung or tortured. It was like a massive graveyard of crosses. Suddenly I saw a white star appear from within a bright white light over the hills, and I realized it was Jesus. I questioned Christ about what was happening and received no answer. Then I sensed and saw what appeared to be a black void that went nowhere to the left of me but behind me. I started immediately telling Christ that this wasn't the right spot for me. I remember telling him that I didn't belong here, that I belonged with those other crosses, some distance from the black void. But Christ would not say a word. He just remained over this hill and watched me. I pleaded and I pleaded with him. He just remained over this hill in complete silence. Then approximately 20 minutes later, Christ said, "The people on the crosses are the people that were crucified for me through the ages." This whole occurrence was just overwhelming. I just waited and waited. Then after about 20 minutes, other visions started to appear before my eyes. I'm not going to document the other vision because the Lord didn't tell me to. So that's where I'll leave this vision and occurrence. Over.